Dobry den,
Zdravejte,
and welcome back to our little Bulgarian adventure.
and this week we come to you from the woodland.
Yes, we've had glorious weather this week, and the woodland is about the coolest place in our property at the minute.
Oh yes, so we thought we'd take advantage and do the video here.
Yeah, it's been lovely. We've had glorious sunshine, no rain,
No, hot weather,
a lot of garden watering,
a lot of dips in the pool.
and a lot of dips in the pool. Yeah.
Yes,
But it did lead us on to this week's project.
it did. It's something we've been looking to do for quite a long time. We finally got around to doing it.
Yeah.
This is what it is. For those of you who watch the channel regularly, know this part of Bulgaria or even this part of the world, you'll know that one thing we're not short of is sunshine, especially at this time of year. Now there's something we've been looking to do for getting on for 3 years now, which we're finally getting around to do, and that's this week's project. Is building ourselves a solar oven. Now that I have power down here in the barn, I've knocked together a bit of a workbench. I've nicked an idea from our derelict dream, used a bit of plywood for the top surface. You can see if you look at the legs, there's plenty of concrete. I used those for the formers when I was making the planks for the cesspit. So I've done as much recycling as I can here. I've got power along the front, I've got my table saw which can plug in quite happily. All the stuff on the table is some of the stuff I'm going to need to build this solar oven. The rest is on the racks and on the shelves, but we'll start off getting ourselves some usable wood. So that's the lid. There's 4 side panels and the base panel all cut to size. I now got to join them together in a box with hinges on the top cover. Now to join the OSB, because it's not the most rigid stuff, I'm going to put battens in the corners. That's my next job. Cut the battens, fit the battens and put the box together. So that's the box made. I've put the lid on and it's hinged at the back. It's approximately 55 centimetres by 55 centimetres. The depth at the front is 25 centimetres. At the back it's 55 centimetres again, so there's plenty of room in there. I've put these battens in place to help strengthen up the structure. The next job I have to do is put the insulation inside. I've got some of these insulated pieces of polystyrene, so I'm going to cut those to size, put them in, and hopefully that will give me a base to put the reflectors in. We've had a bit of a change of design. Originally, you may have seen it on the worktop, I had some styrofoam and some of those car reflective things you put across your windscreen to keep them cool in the summer. Well, I made up the panels with those, tested it, and they melted. They're obviously not designed for those sort of temperatures. Then I did a bit more research and found advice not to use styrofoam, so that would have helped in the first place. So I've now changed it. We've used cardboard insulation as advised and tin foil. Now the bottom needs painting black. That will absorb the heat and keep it in the oven. But there are 2 other ways that you can help make these things more efficient. The first is the black base. Now I've got a black tile. It's one of our kitchen tiles that I painted black. You pop it in, that absorbs the heat. Secondly, when you're cooking in a pan, use a black pan. That also attracts all the heat. You actually put it on a trivet so the air can get all the way around it, but that absorbs all the heat as the sun comes into the solar oven, and that way you get higher temperatures. So I'll be trialing those during the coming week, but for the moment we're going to see how well it works. I've made reflectors to go around the top of the solar oven. That's to reflect as much light into it as possible. The more solar or sunlight you have going in there, the hotter it'll get. The oven has now been in the sun for approximately an hour. The temperature, I've got a bread tin with a thermometer in it at the back there. The temperature inside that bread tin is 110 degrees centigrade. It's been going between that and 120 depending on the direct sunlight and whether any clouds go over. We know we're cooking in an oven like this, it does take longer, but there's no hurry. It's powered by the sun, so it's not costing us anything to keep it running. A little bit later we'll be doing some bread rolls. We'll see how they come out. So that's the rolls put into the solar oven. We're going to give it an hour, have a look at them, see how they're doing. Hopefully they'll be fairly close, but we'll find out. So the rolls so far have had 50 minutes in the solar oven. They've certainly risen. Whether they're cooked or not, we're going to find out. I think I'll take one out, test it with a temperature probe, see what the internal temperature is. Apparently with bread, if it gets to 95 degrees centigrade, it's cooked. So we'll give that a go, and I'll let you know what happens. Well, that was 80 degrees, so I'm going to give it another 10-15 minutes just to see if it gets up any higher, which it should do. It's very warm in there. A couple of protection issues. Got a glove for hot surfaces because it's an oven, so I don't want to burn myself. Secondly, sunglasses. It is very sunny, but with all this reflective stuff, I'm concentrating the sunlight, so I don't want to take the risk of damaging my eyes. So, like I say, we'll give it another 10-15 minutes, test it again, and let you know how they go. But so far, so good. So the rolls have had 3 hours now in the solar oven. They should be cooked. They haven't browned, but then we didn't expect them to because it doesn't get hot enough to really brown them. But let's have a look and see what they look like inside. Let's take this one. And that's cooked. It's well, it's ready for eating, so I'll put some butter on that and tell you how it tastes. That's not bad. So it took us 3 hours to cook this batch of rolls, which seems a long time, but when you think all we did was put them in there and left them, every so often we just have to turn the oven round to face the sun, it's not bad. We'll continue with a trial and error approach of cooking different things, let you know how we get on. In the meantime, I'm going to finish my roll. So, it's an ongoing project. We've just started tinkering and experimenting. We're learning as we go, so first signs are promising.
They are. It came about because we just couldn't bear the thought of putting the oven on to cook the bread
No, it doesn't.
every day.
It's warm enough without the oven on.
Yeah, so we came up with the idea of the solar oven,
Yeah.
which Adam's had batting around in his head for a while.
Like I do. But yes, we'll see how it goes, but we'll keep you posted.
Yeah, and we do enjoy our fresh bread.
We do. Well, next week,
Next
Hamish and Sheppy Dog going to the pets.
Yeah, there are the last two of our animals to get neutered.
Yes, we've booked them in, so Monday morning in they go. Poor things. But it needs doing, and then that'll be all the animals sorted.
Yeah, for the time being.
Yeah. What do you mean for the time being?
I don't know, I've seen another one.
We're not getting a llama.
No, we're not getting it. I would really like a llama.
No. If you have one, don't send it.
Well, I don't think we've, apart from our pottering, we didn't do many jobs on our list this week. The solar oven experimentation took over.
Yes, I got a bit obsessed.
So we may have another week of snagging jobs.
Before we start the corridor and the spare room.
Yeah.
Which we're going to do the floors in conjunction because it makes sense to only mix up one batch of concrete than two.
Yeah.
So it'll be a long day, but I'm sure the troops can do it.
Yes, as long as we start early enough.
Yeah.
We found our working day now is sort of 7 till 9 in the morning is good. 6 till the light goes is good in the evenings.
Yeah.
Anything in between is just really quite difficult.
Yes, which to someone who's stuck in the mud like me, it's very tricky to adjust your working day. So
Yes, I think I adjust much easier than you.
yes, please leave me alone, Fly.
Yeah, the big downside is flies.
Mm.
But luckily we're not too bothered with mosquitoes here.
No,
Flies we get a lot of.
yeah, but you get used to them, mostly. So I think that's probably about it for us this week.
It is.
It's been a slow week, but it's been fun. Big bun? Oh, okay.
So, and we have got stuff done. You did finally get your tool bench made, which you've been
Yes.
after for a long time.
Yep.
In order to make the solar oven. So one job always leads to another, doesn't it?
Of course. But that's in place now, so any woodwork I need to do, I can do at a proper height rather than on the floor. Which, when you get to my age, you appreciate.
Yes, better for your back and knees.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's about it for us this week.
It is. So it's time for us to say,
Stay safe.
be well.
Do skoro.
Do skoro.